Hey guys, we're gonna learn for loops. Now, for loops are a little bit harder to remember. I struggled with for loops for a long time until I decided to actually memorize what a for excuse me, a for loop was. So, a for loop has three phases. It has the initialization, the termination, and the increment. So the initialization is where you declare the variable that you want to alter that will count. So this is what's going to happen before the loop, and it's going to be like a one-line thing. So normally you would put like a counter, int I equals 0, for example. Now the increment, I'll do that first, is where you add or subtract this variable over here, the counter. So normally it's an increment. Termination, I just realized I spelled that wrong. Oh well. Termination. Okay, this is what's going to be executed. Or whenever it loops, it checks if this value of the termination is false. If it's false, then it breaks out of the loop. So let's say I is less than or equal to 1000. So we're going to loop through this thing 1000 times. That's kind of intense, isn't it? So let's make a program that checks if something's a multiple of 3. So if I modulus 3, so if the remainder 3, or of this number in 3, equals 0, so if it's a multiple of 3, system.out.print line I. So now this is going to print out all multiples of 3. There you go. See this for loop? It looped through all of this, and then this would print out all numbers that were multiples of 3, because it would check each number. If that's too complicated for you, I'll just show you what a normal thing does without the thing. See, it just counts through the numbers. It starts with 0, because that's what I defined it as, and it ends at 1000, because it's less than or equal to 1000. So that is how you make a for loop. For loops are more used than while loops because you just don't use while loops because they're kind of annoying to break out of, and you usually have a counter, and for loops have that counter built in, so you don't have to worry about anything. So there you go, for loops.